For some schizoid individuals, they may become workaholics, and this is because of not having a social life, or not having a fulfilling social life, or not having close, intimate connections with other people, that they're able to really immerse themselves in their work. And by spending long amounts of time working, it's a way to not have to really confront the lack of emotional connection or the lack of intimate relationships in their life. For some schizoids, they might use this as an excuse, like if they are in a marriage, they might use the long working hours as an excuse as to why they're not closer to their partner, or why they're not spending more time in emotional engagement, because they say they're tired, because they have to work all these long hours and they just don't have the energy for emotional investment, when in actual fact it is because of their schizoid dynamics and their defenses that is causing them to have emotional detachment. For some people, when they are engaged in a career path and they are committed to long-term goals, they may not have the self-insight to realize what's going on with them emotionally and the emotional detachment. And for some schizoids, they may feel that they're going to feel better, or they're going to have more time for relationships once they reach their career goals or whatever goal that they're pursuing. And then it can take many years before they actually realize that there is an issue with their emotions, and there is an issue with emotional detachment, because they were so focused on work that it didn't really factor into the equation. And then at some point, after years of accomplishment and not feeling any closer to people and not being any more inclined to engage in emotional intimacy, then they may come to realize that really that there is something more going on. And also, they may find after many years of pursuing goals and career goals that that they're not really getting a lot of personal satisfaction from their job. So they could be making a lot of money, and they can have the security that they want now, in terms of maybe like a nice house in a nice area, and at the same time still be subject to these feelings of emptiness and detachment. And it's usually at this later point that they could step back, take time out, and really reflect on what's going on internally as to why this success or achievement aren't really like hitting the spot for them. There's some people who engage in careers who are pursuing a field that they particularly resonate with in their true self, and that they're good at, and that they draw a lot of psychological interest from. With these people, because the goal isn't purely security related, that there is some ego syntonicity, that means that their true self is in alignment with the job or the external goal that they're pursuing, they're more likely to feel satisfaction from their path, as it's not just a means to an end. So because there is a spectrum in schizoid dynamics, there are going to be people in different positions. So what I've been referring to in this video is more going to be what you could say on the high functioning schizoids, people that have been in a position as well to study, been in a position to be able to have the opportunity to start a career, and they have the functionality to continue along that path. There are other schizoids who, for different reasons, may not have had the opportunity to develop a professional role, or they may be so heavily influenced by dissociation that they have difficulty with study and focus. So really, it depends on a person, where they're coming from, like in originally their home environment, their socioeconomic status, and also how their full cell system develops. Because for some people, their full cell system isn't as functional as other people, and so they may not be able to make the professional adaptations in the way that another schizoid might. So I'm just touching on some of the issues, and I'm just explaining that although I have talked about schizoids lacking motivation and drive, that is usually on a personal level in terms of doing personal things. However, schizoids can be very driven by their safety sensitivity and need for security, and if their full self system is developed adequately, they were able to live their life through their full self system, engage in jobs, different roles professionally, and excel in those fields. And they can be extremely successful in that sense, though there can be some underlying lacking personage and difficulties with intimacy, and sometimes not having much of a life outside of the work. So yeah, this is some of the reasons why schizoids can be very successful in their chosen careers.